This deep dive is tough. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
You asked us to take a look at the story of Dante Caranci, 7 years old from London, Ontario. And we got a lot here. We've got news articles, obituaries,
Wow.
social media posts. There's even a GoFundMe page. So I guess the goal here is to figure out what happened and how the community's coping with this loss, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a heavy one.
Yeah.
Donkey was killed on December 16th
Oh, wow.
after getting off of his school bus
Oh.
right in front of his house
Oh, gosh.
on Longwoods Road.
And Longwoods Road, I was looking at some maps. That's not some quiet little,
No.
side street.
No, it's a busy road.
Oh, wow.
And actually, one of the sources we have, an eyewitness, Mike Hegarty, he mentioned a transport truck behind the bus
Oh, geez.
after the incident. So it paints a picture of how dangerous that must have been for a little kid
Trying to cross.
trying to cross the street.
Oh, that's awful. It sounds like the police are still investigating,
Yeah,
being careful about what they're saying right now.
understandably.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's important to protect, the investigation and avoid any speculation that might hinder their work.
Right.
But while we wait for more information
Yeah.
to come out, maybe we can talk about Dante himself for a minute.
Okay.
I mean, his obituary, it says he was a kid who was, full of life.
Yeah.
He loved hockey.
Yeah.
He played for the Lambic Lancers.
Oh, wow.
He liked Legos, teddy bears, soccer, even Fortnite.
He sounds like, that's every 7-year-old. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it just makes it feel even more profound. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all those things, all the things he was into, he won't get to experience anymore.
It's heartbreaking. And his family, they describe him as a kind-hearted soul, a joyful and radiant child.
Oh.
It's hard to think about,
Yeah. A light going out so young.
Yeah.
That's terrible. The community's response, like the way everybody is responding, it really says something about him and how much he meant to people. People putting hockey sticks outside their homes.
Yeah, in Lambeth.
In Lambeth.
Yeah.
And the Lambeth Minor Hockey League, they put out a statement too,
That's awesome.
saying how sad they were,
Yeah.
His school, Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Elementary School
Hmm.
in Delaware, it sounds like everybody's really feeling this.
Yeah, you can tell. It's a real sense of, like you said, community,
Yeah.
coming together, supporting each other.
But it's interesting though, right?
Yeah.
Because people are, they're sad, but some people are showing it in different ways. Some people are just really, really sad. And other people are angry. They want something to change, make things safer around schools. It's like, how do we stop this from ever happening again?
Yeah. And it makes you think, doesn't it? How do we take all that sadness and anger and actually do something good with it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how do we make sure another family doesn't have to go through this?
Exactly, yeah. And there's that GoFundMe that people set up to help Dante's family.
Oh, yeah.
That really shows you how much people want to help.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even started by a family member. It was a friend named Mandy.
Oh, wow.
And it's already raised over $225,000.
It's amazing how these online things, they bring people together to help,
It's a powerful thing. But it's not just about the money. It's about letting the family know that people are there for them.
Yeah, they're not alone. Absolutely. There was one donation that really stood out.
Oh, yeah.
$5,000.
Wow.
From a Brad Letson. I mean, you see that and this has really hit people hard.
Yeah, for sure.
But along with all the sadness and the support, there's the issue of safety that we have to talk about.
Mhm.
A lot of folks online, and even Constable Matthew Dawson from the London Police, they're saying we need to be more careful around school buses.
Yeah, absolutely. He's reminding everyone, when those lights are flashing and the stop sign's out, you have to stop.
It's the law.
It's not a suggestion. It's the law.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to forget,
Yeah.
to think, oh, those few seconds won't matter. But
This shows us how much they do matter.
this tragedy shows us, how fragile things are. Those rules, they exist for a reason.
It's the difference between life and death.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about, but it feels like we've only just started to scratch the surface here.
Yeah.
As we get into these sources more, I want to see how the community is coming together to heal and what real steps people are taking to make sure this never happens again.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But The way everyone's responding, the sadness, the calls for change, it does give you some hope,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. One thing that I noticed going through these articles is we don't know much about the accident itself.
Like, we know he was hit after getting off the bus, but the details are still kind of fuzzy.
Right. And the police are being very cautious about releasing information.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Given how sensitive this is.
Yeah.
And the fact that the investigation is still ongoing,
Mhm.
we have to make sure we don't jeopardize anything.
Totally. Plus, it's probably better for the family, too, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they're dealing with so much already. They don't need rumors and speculation on top of everything else.
Exactly. So until we get more information, I think it's best to stick with what we do know. A young boy lost his life way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And an entire community is trying to deal with that.
Yeah, and when you look at what people are posting on social media, you really see how much it's affecting them. Some posts are just like pure sadness,
Yeah.
disbelief, shock.
Right.
I saw one that said the Delaware community is grieving after many of our community children lost a good friend in 7-year-old Dante.
It hits you hard. This isn't just one family's loss. It's everyone who knew him, his classmates, his teammates, friends. The whole school community is hurting.
And it makes you think about the parents, right, trying to explain this to their own kids.
It's a hard conversation to have.
It is, because it makes you realize it could happen anywhere, to anyone.
Yeah, that feeling of it could happen to me. That's what the experts call collective trauma.
Collective trauma.
Yeah, it's this shared feeling of shock, grief, and anxiety. It kind of takes over a community after something like this happens, especially when a child is involved.
I can see that. And along with all the sadness and shock, there's also a lot of anger online. People are demanding change.
Right. They're calling for safer streets around schools. And it's understandable. People want to know why this happened.
It's that feeling of this shouldn't have happened, right?
Exactly. And that often translates into anger directed at, things like bad infrastructure, where people not following traffic laws or just drivers not paying attention.
There was a comment on the GoFundMe page that really got to me.
What did it say?
It said, something has to be done. This should be very preventable, and every child should come home safe from school.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of we need to do something, you know?
Absolutely. And that brings up the question of what can we actually do to protect kids in school zones?
Constable Dawson was really emphasizing that drivers need to be more aware, especially around buses.
Yeah, he's reminding everyone about the law, right?
Yeah. Stop signs out, lights flashing, you gotta stop.
It's not optional. It's there for a reason, to protect the kids.
But laws are only part of it, right?
Yeah, drivers have to do their part too. Put the phones down, be patient, don't rush.
It's like we were saying before, those few seconds can make all the difference.
Exactly. This isn't the time to be complacent. We all have to be vigilant.
And what about the streets themselves? Around the schools?
That's a big part of it too.
Do they need speed bumps?
Yeah, traffic calming measures, better signs, crosswalks, maybe even crossing guards in certain areas.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider.
It's not a simple fix. It's got to be a whole system, from road design to driver education to enforcing the laws.
But one thing that has been amazing is how much support the Caranci family's getting.
Oh, yeah.
That GoFundMe, it's over $225,000. That's incredible.
It's really heartwarming,
Yeah.
especially since it was started by a friend, not even a family member.
It shows you how much people care.
It's a reminder that even when things are really bad, people are still good,
Yeah, it's that human connection. People want to help, even if it's just a little bit.
And it's not just about the money either. It's about letting the family know they're not alone. People are thinking of them, sending love and support.
That must mean a lot to them right now.
It does. And it can really help with the healing process, knowing you're surrounded by people who care.
And it's not just about grieving, is it? There's also this desire to remember Dante, to celebrate his life.
Exactly.
Those hockey sticks outside the houses, the Lambeth Lancers asking people to remember him. It's really touching. Yeah.
It is. It's about finding something positive in all this sadness. And I think remembering Dante, keeping his memory alive, that can be part of the healing process too.
It's like those hockey sticks, they're not just a symbol of grief. They're also a reminder that we need to do better.
To make sure this doesn't happen again.
Exactly. And as we go through all this information, I think that's the question we need to keep asking. How do we keep our kids safe?
Yeah. What are the next steps? How do we prevent another tragedy like this?
This has been really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Going through all of this,
It is.
But you said earlier that the community's response is like a little glimmer of hope in all of this.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even with all this sadness, people are really coming together.
Yeah.
They're being kind, they're supporting each other, and they really want to make a difference. You can see that.
There was this article in CTV News. They quoted someone named Emily Jane. She said, "The LDCSB is a tight-knit community, and colleagues, students, and families have all been reeling from this devastating news. It really shows you how many people this has affected, you know?"
It's not just some faraway thing. This is real people,
Yeah.
real families,
Hmm.
real kids.
Yeah.
And their lives are changed forever. And it's all over social media, too.
Yeah.
I saw a post from Ashley Marie. I think she was one of Dante's teachers. She just wrote, "Dante's smile will be greatly missed in our classroom."
Oh.
It breaks your heart.
It does. And it's like you said, this isn't just a loss for the family. This is a loss for everybody. It's like we've lost some of that innocence, that feeling of safety that you want your kids to have.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how precious life is and how important it is to just, appreciate every moment.
It really does. To be grateful for the people in your life.
You know what really got to me? The Lambeth Lancers, their Facebook post.
Oh, yeah.
They're asking people to put hockey sticks outside their homes
Oh, wow.
to remember Dante.
That's beautiful. Such a simple thing, but it means so much. It's like everyone sharing their grief together, but also celebrating his life, his love for hockey.
Right. It connects everyone. And it's a reminder that we got to do everything we can to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, how do we keep our kids safe? What can we actually do?
We talked about buses. We talked about drivers paying attention, making the roads safer.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's always more to do, you know?
There is, for sure. And it's not just one thing. It's got to be everything. Like making streets safer with speed bumps and better signs, maybe having crossing guards in some places. And we got to teach people, drivers and kids, to be more careful, to know the rules of the road.
It's about creating a culture of safety.
Yeah.
Where everybody understands the risks and looks out for each other.
Absolutely. And it's not just the police or the city. It's all of us. It's drivers making good choices. It's parents talking to the kids about safety. It's, neighbors looking out for each other.
Constable Dawson said something that really stuck with me.
What was that?
He said, with any fatal motor vehicle collision, it takes a toll on not only the families that are involved and the communities that surround those families, but also on emergency personnel.
It's true. We don't always think about the first responders, the police, the paramedics, the firefighters. They're the ones who see it all firsthand. The grief, the pain, it stays with them.
Yeah, we got to support them too. Make sure they have what they need to deal with all of that.
Yeah, it's important. And it reminds us that we're all connected, that something like this affects everyone in some way.
Yeah.
And maybe that shared grief, that desire to make things better, that can be the start of something good.
I hope so. I hope Dante's memory can lead to real change, to safer streets, and to communities that are even stronger.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And to our listener, thanks for going through this with us. We know it was a tough one. But hopefully by talking about it, we can honor Dante's memory and start a conversation about how we can all keep our kids safe.
We covered a lot today. The sadness, the anger, the need for change. It's a lot to think about, but keep thinking about it. And think about what you can do to make your own community a safer place.
Even small things make a difference. Be aware, be kind, and let's all work together to make sure this never happens again.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.